With the idler assembly alongside the selector assembly complete and ready, we hit probably the longest and most difficult part of the MMU3 build, in which we'll link all parts together through to body completion. So on we go with the MMU3 pulley body assembly. So we start with the pulley body itself, along with the 3 bearings supplied in the package. The first installs into the recess on the rear side of the pulley body. The second bearing goes into the opposite side, while the third seats inside the pulley body, inserted at an angle and then tilted upright into place. So that's all 3 bearings now in position. Next we move on to the inside of the body and insert 4 M3 square nuts into the openings, using an Allen key to push the nuts all the way in as far as they go so that they line up with the corresponding holes, before inserting the 5 included 19mm PTFE tubes into the same side. Just below the nuts we just inserted, note that these tubes have a chamfered edge on one side. The chamfer must be facing outwards as you insert each tube into position. Once in place, attach the flat side of the front PTFE holder into the tubes and push all the way down in towards the pulley body in this orientation, as far back as it'll go so it sits flush with the body, before securing into place using 4 M3x10 screws going in from the front and securing into the M3 square nuts previously installed. So at this point we have the bearings and PTFE tubing installed and your assembly should look exactly as shown here. Place this assembly to one side for the moment while we work on the next part, the collet holder, as seen here. Holding it in this orientation, so with the arrow pointing to the left, proceed to insert 5 collets into the holes at the bottom. These should push fit into place, although if you find this step difficult you may need to squish the fins on the collet with your fingers while you insert, far enough so it clicks into place and so only the collar is protruding from the end. This is now ready for installation onto the main pulley body. So with the body in hand, rotate so you're looking at the flat side and proceed to insert 2 M3 nuts near the bottom end, just above the bearings. You'll find this easier by using an M3x30 screw to push the nut down into place. Verify the nuts are down in position, and once in place, flip the body over and place the collet holder into position on the idler body. Notice how the arrow points up towards the body, and secure into position using 2 M3x10 screws. So with that done, place the assembly to one side and reach for the motors box, since we now need to work on the pulley motor. It will be the one with the long shaft, clearly labelled pulley. Orientate the motor so that the cable is facing the rear, and turn the shaft by hand so that the flat side is facing upwards, since we now need to slide on our 5 pulleys. Check to ensure each pulley has a small grub screw pre-inserted. If any have fallen out, search through your parts bag to locate it, before ensuring all grub screws are backed off and only loosely inserted at this point. When ready, slide the first pulley body onto the shaft, with the grub screw facing upwards so it lines up with the flat side of the motor shaft, and with the teeth end facing towards the motor, before tightening the grub screw down into place. Once tightened, release the grub screw slightly, enough so that the pulley can freely move alongside the shaft, but not free enough so that it can rotate any further than the flat side. Install the remaining 4 pulleys in the same way, so feed them on, tighten the grub screw, and release slightly to allow movement along the shaft. So we're now left with 5 pulleys installed on the shaft. Each pulley has its teeth facing towards the motor, and each pulley has its grub screw tightened just enough to allow movement along the shaft, but not rotational movement any further than the flat section of the shaft. Once verified, we can install the motor into the pulley body. Before doing this though, insert a single M3 square nut into the right side of the pulley body, just here, and push down into position with an Allen key. We'll be using this later on during the assembly, but need to install it now since it won't be accessible once covered by the motor, which is exactly what we'll do next. So proceed to feed the motor shaft, complete with its pulleys, through the hole, still making sure the motor wires are facing away from you and towards the rear of the body, and seat the opposite end of the shaft into the bearing previously installed, before pushing the pulleys towards the center. Once in place, so far enough so that the motor is flush with the body, insert a single M3x10 screw into the top right motor hole, just enough to hold it in place for the moment. Do not over tighten just yet, since we need to flip the body over and secure from the bottom with another 2 M3x10 screws. You'll need to ensure these screws are perfectly aligned with the threads in the motor, so use the ball end of your Allen key to tighten. If you feel any resistance, remove the screw and try again. If done correctly, they should go in relatively easy until tightened down into place, after which we can revisit that top screw and proceed to tighten down until snug. Okay, so we need to align all the pulleys now. This is a very important step that must be done perfectly, since in essence the teeth on each of these pulleys will grab and pull filament through the system. In order to do that, they need to be perfectly aligned with the filament paths, or these ridges in the top and bottom of each. Using a straight piece of filament then, insert through the first collet and towards the pulley. Once in place, tighten the grub screw, ensuring that you're tightening into the flat side of the shaft of course, and use reasonable force so as to not strip the screw. Once done, repeat the same process across all remaining grub screws, making sure they are completely aligned with the grooves in the pulley body. When complete, double check each grub screw position by inserting the filament through the filament path again, ensuring it can pass straight by the groove in each pulley nice and easy. Okay, so with that done, we're going to bring our selector assembly back into the build, and we'll get this installed onto the main pulley body. Alongside the selector assembly, we'll also need our selector motor from the motor's box. This will be the one with the threaded rod, clearly labelled selector, as well as the 2 metal shafts supplied in the package. Begin by inserting 2 M3 square nuts into the 2 recesses in the side of the pulley body, next to the previously installed pulley motor. Now drop the selector assembly down into the pulley body in this orientation, so with the sensor up top and the nut facing the motor side of the body, and insert the 2 metal shafts through the motor side of the pulley body. Then through the 2 bushings we inserted into the selector, and ensure they securely engage into the other side of the body, making sure the shafts are fully pushed in so that they are slightly below the surface on the motor side, and then test by ensuring the selector can move freely from end to end. We'll get the final selector motor installed next, so proceed to insert the motor shaft through the side hole and line up with the selector nut, and then rotate the threaded rod while pushing it towards the selector to engage it into the trapeze nut. Once you have the rod threaded through, leaving around 2 cm of the shaft exposed on the opposite side, push the motor forward into position, ensuring the motor cable points upwards, since this will make tidying the cables easier later on, and checking there is some clearance between the selector and the end of its travel on the left. Once verified, attach the selector motor to the pulley body with 2 M3x10 screws in opposing corners of the motor. Again, you'll find these easy to drive into place using the ball end of a 2.5mm Allen key, tightening down until snug. Finally, insert a third M3x10 screw in the outermost remaining corner, taking care not to over tighten this screw as you'll end up tilting the entire motor to one side, so a nice snug fit is all that's needed. With that done, we'll check fitment by loosening the 2 screws holding the trapezoid nut to the selector assembly. No need to remove them completely, we're just loosening off a touch for the moment, before forcing the selector fully across its travel distance from side to side. This will be tough to move due to the resistance from the stepper motor, but proceed to move the selector completely from one side to the other. And when back to the left, re-tighten the 2 screws on the nut until snug, before moving the selector all the way to the right in order to give us ample space for the next steps, for which we want to place the assembly so that the selector is facing you with motors to the right. Time to bring in the idler assembly from early in the build now, flipping it over, and lower it down so it fits into position above the main body in this orientation. Once in place, turn the unit around so we're looking at the rear end where the hinge sections should line up nicely, and insert a single 5x16 shaft into the marked opening, pushing it all the way in until it engages into the bearing in the pulley body. Repeat the same process on the opposite end. These are secured into position with a single M3x10 screw going in and overlapping the hole beside the shaft entry. Screwing into plastic here, so no need to go super tight. In essence, this tightens the shaft hole slightly, while also covering it enough so that the shaft is unable to fall out of place. leaving us with a hinge that allows us to open and close the idler assembly nice and easy. With that done, back around the front side, open up the idler body, and insert a single M3x10 square nut into this location on the inside of the pulley body, ensuring it pushes all the way in, before hinging the idler closed. We'll secure this using two M3x30 screws, complete with 15x5 springs, one dropped onto each, and secure into the two corner holes of the idler. These are going through the idler assembly and into the main pulley body. Take note that we don't want to go super tight here, as we want the springs to do their job, so insert each screw far enough just so that the head is just slightly above the top surface. Okay, so at this point your assembly should look precisely like my example here. Check to ensure motors are securely positioned with cables in the correct orientations, the filament sensor securely in place with smooth selector travel across its axes, and all screws and square nuts in the correct places. With that verified and the main body complete then, time to move across to electronics. We will start with the electronics board cover and inserting 3 M3 nuts into the outer flat side of the cover. If you find this tough, start by partially inserting and then pressing down on a flat hard surface, or using the screw pulling technique, or push in with a longer screw, whichever is easier. Once done, we're ready to install the control board. As this is an electronic item, do take care when handling, trying to touch only the very edges of the board and taking general care throughout. Notice the end with the 3 buttons. These go in first as you slide the board into position into the cover we just prepared, and once in place, secure with 3 M3x6 screws going straight into the nuts we've inserted on the other side. Do take care not to over tighten and damage the board here. A nice snug fit is all that's needed. Onto our power delivery board next. Again, take care with handling only from the edges as much as possible, and proceed to slide it into the PD board cover so that the writing is facing upwards and the connectors out the open side. Once in place, with the electronics board orientated so that the connections are at the top, proceed to install the PD board into the first 2 connectors on the left side. Double check to ensure the module is installed in the correct location. This is a very important step as incorrect installation will permanently damage the board. With that in place, proceed to locate the cable bundle, complete in its textile sleeve, and noting the different sized plugs on each end, connect the thinner plug into the side of the PD board we just installed. Talking of cables, let's get the remaining cables connected now. So with the main assembly placed with the 2 motors on the left side and working on our connectors from left to right, we can go ahead and install the super fender sensor first, followed by the pulley motor, then the selector motor, and finally the idler motor. Double check the connections here. They must replicate what you see here precisely, as otherwise your system will not work. Once happy, we can proceed to connect both parts together. Start by inserting a single M3 square nut into the opening just above the 2 motors and press all the way in, after which we can flip and place the electronics assembly on top of the main body, making sure that the side of the buttons is pointing to the front, and checking to ensure the cables at the rear pass over the PD board and not under it. With that confirmed, proceed to secure into position using 2 M3x18 screws, tightening the screws only until snug. And that's pretty much the main assembly complete, so we'll take the chance now to tidy up with some cable management. So start by ensuring the selector motor is moved fully to the left side, before arranging the super fender cable so it joins the motor cables on the side of the unit. Take care to leave adequate slack in the cable so it's not stretched at all when the sensor is at the very left edge, and then use a zip tie to join the cable to the selector motor cable, followed by another zip tie to join these to the pulley motor cable at the rear corner. From here you can use the gaps in the electronic board cover to neaten the cabling as much as you can. The aim here is to ensure cables are bundled and secured neatly together so that they're out of the way, but taking care to ensure that there is enough slack so that the door can be opened at the same time. So go ahead and release the 2 screws with springs to ensure you can open the top idler door freely, before closing and securing back into place so that the screws are just above the frame. With that done, we can move on to attaching the frame holders to either end. Start by turning the unit over, so with the flat side up, and insert 2 M3 square nuts into the upper side with the single motor, pushing them all the way in with the help of a 1.5mm Allen key. After which we can place the frame holder on top in this orientation, so with the shorter side on the same side as the selector, and secure with two M3x10 screws, tightening down until snug. Before repeating the same on the opposite side, where we have nuts already in place, so just another two M3x10 screws to secure the frame into position. Finally, place the assembly onto its newly installed holders and position the label plate across them so that you can secure with another two M3x10 screws. These screws are going directly into plastic, so threads will be created as you screw in. Take care not to over tighten and strip any threads. A nice snug fit is all that's needed. And that's it, our MMU3 assembly is now complete. We'll finish up by inserting the 5 long PTFE tubes into the openings with the black collets on the back of the MMU unit. Note that to remove these from this point onwards, you'll need to push the black collet in while you pull out the tube. Anyways, push them in as far as they'll go. To verify position, undo the 2 idler tension screws, swing the unit open, and note the small windows next to each of the pulley positions. Verify the PTFE tube is fully inserted and its end is visible inside the window. If not, push the tube in some more until it's visible. With that done, close the unit, and secure the 2 tension screws slightly, again just enough so that the top of the screw head is slightly above the top surface of the idler body. This is the default setting that generally works for the majority of materials, although correct tensioning is very important for proper functioning of the device, so we'll most likely revisit and adjust the tension if needed later when we come to using the system. And that's it, Prusa MMU3 build complete. Remove your safety sticker from its backing and attach to the right side, as well as the serial sticker to the bottom, and we're done with the entire build. The unit can now sit on top of your Prusa printer by removing the single spool holder and placing the MMU3 on top in its place. Although before using the unit, we'll need to construct some accessories that work alongside the main unit and complete the entire setup, namely the buffer and the spool holder assembly.